The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Humankind was our highest, finest, and ultimate creation.
We were commanded to love you as we love the Maker, but ordered to hide ourselves from you. When forced to choose between those two commandments, we chose love. The simple act of revealing ourselves to you was our undoing.
Our love of you led to revolution in the heavens. The merest caress of God's wrath was sufficient to rend the spheres asunder, leaving the world a bruised and battered husk of what was once paradise.
The first murder was man, and our noble warfare turned catastrophic. Thus began the time of atrocities. We ruled the world for countless ages, slaughtering the heavenly host and pulling down their prisons of stone and iron.
But in the end, it all came to naught. The race of Adam and Eve buckled from the weight of revelation and turned their backs to us. With the war lost, we expected destruction.
But the Almighty had a far more terrible fate in store. He condemned us to darkness eternal, an endless, empty existence devoid of purpose. In the end, our sacrifice was forgotten because history is always written by the victors.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios' Demon, The Road to Hell. Tonight starts the first night of our brand new chronicle based on Demon the Fallen. For tonight, we have a series of one-on-one scenes that are being shown here where you get to learn who each of the demons were, what their role in creation was, and of course, why they fell, how they possessed their first body. Now please, because these are possession scenes, they can be rather intense, so please heed the warnings I put at the beginning of each scene and choose for yourself whether you feel you should watch it or even mute the audio until that scene ends. For this first scene, we're going to learn about God's first and most perfect creations, the heralds, the first house. These carried the Lord's standard, bringing his light to illuminate all of creation. The greatest of all these angels were the leaders and princes of the celestials, shining examples of all that was glorious and right in the eyes of God. For this particular scene, we are going to learn about one of them. This scene touches on topics of drug addiction, domestic abuse, and murder by a loved one. Please remember my warnings. So it begins. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Synthrazial, the herald.
And what was your role in creation?
I created the lust that all creatures feel between each other. The ability to mate, to breed, to feel that love for each other.
And on that fateful day, when Hiramel called forth the heavenly host and predicted catastrophic darkness was coming on the All-Mother and All-Father and their descendants, and it was chosen to fall. Why did you fall?
I had grown tired. The difficulty of humans in their primitive, primal ways was so uncreative. This threat to them before they could really come to their own fruition was unacceptable, and I couldn't sit there and let it happen.
And with that fall began a war of atrocities, a war of wrath. What was your role in the war?
Initially, I tried to avoid the war. But as it dragged on, as the first murder was committed, I took to luring in members of the heavenly host with my powerful charisma and slaughtering them as best I could to protect the ones I loved at first, and much to my shame, more for pleasure after many years.
And during this war, eventually humankind turned their back on the fallen, and the war was lost. And on that fateful day, when you were brought before the abyss with Lucifer wrapped in chains of fire, his head unbowed, how did you enter the abyss?
Terrified, crying, devastated. How could they not see that what we had done was right?
And as the gates closed behind you, and you found the morning star, the first of your house, was not there with you, how did you react to that?
Anger, fury, terrible fury, and no outlet, nothing to channel it onto. Years and years passed, and eventually it changed into melancholy sadness and boredom.
Now we flash to the year 1999. Vivian Ash is out at a party with her boyfriend, Jeff. And as you're at this party, Jeff wanders over. Hey, baby, I think we ought to run. It's kind of deading off here, and I've already sold all the shit I brought with me. So,
Come on, babe, just a little longer.
I mean, I got nothing to sell, and I'm not making money, and the shit's back at the house anyway. So, I mean, we can just go back to the house. Come on.
All right, fine, but only if you get a little handsy with me when we get there.
Well, of course. Come on. Maybe we'll get handsy in the car.
Sounds good to me, baby.
And you head out. And as you're leaving, everybody's like, oh, where you going? Come on, the party's just going. And
I know, I'm so sorry, but we've got our own things to deal with.
And you step outside and pile up in the car. And as you're riding back, it gets distracting for the car ride as you're making out during your trip to your apartment. And as you get to the apartment, you barely make it in the door before he pins you against the wall. And some time later, as he's lightly dozing, you get up and start looking for something, don't you?
Where is it? I'll search through the room, looking through some of the drawers, and of course in the bottom drawer is where he keeps his personal stash. And that's where I'll grab a little bit and load it up into a needle.
It's high quality shit. His heroin is very good. As you shoot up and get high, you don't realize he wakes up. You don't see him waking up. So he walks over to you, and he's looking down as you're on the floor in a drunken stupor, or a high stupor, drug-induced. God damn it. That's my shit.
Oh, come on, baby. You get plenty.
Look, Bitch, that's not the point. That's my shit. I was trying to sell that.
Look, I'll pay for it another way.
You say that every time, and look, I get my shit in. I have to pay the people who bring it to me. And then I sell it. And every time you use my shit like this, it cuts in on the profit and we're not making the money. Why do you think we're in this shitty apartment rather than something nice?
Look, I don't use that much, okay? I'm just having a little fun after our fun.
No. And he reaches down and just snatches the heroin, the whole bag, the kit, everything out of your hands.
What the fuck? Hey. No, stand up, and he's significantly taller than me.
And he's
but
holding it up by one arm where you can't reach it. You're not getting it back.
What's your problem?
My problem is you. You need to stop getting high, goddammit.
Fuck that. That's the whole reason we're in this business, to have fun and to make money. And we can do both, okay?
Not this. Look, this is the good shit. This is the one that makes us the most money. You can use that other shit that... Yeah, I know you say it has a bad come down, but come on, just shoot more then.
That bullshit. Give it back.
No, you're not getting it back.
You fuck.
And he pulls his hand back. Don't make me. Don't.
Fucking try it, asshole.
And he actually looks at you and backhands you one.
You son of a bitch! And she'll cock her fist back and slam it right into his chest.
And as he staggers back and hits the wall, he kind of bounces off it. And he has a look of shock on his face. He can't believe you hit back.
You fucking hit me again. We're gonna have issues. How fucking dare you?
Oh, you dare me? He reaches behind his back, pulls out a 9mm. You dare me? You forget who the fuck you're talking to.
Jeff, you're not gonna fucking use that.
Oh, you don't think I will?
No, you're not gonna fucking use that.
And he draws the hammer back on it. Are you sure I won't use this?
Yeah, you know what? I am. Give me the gun. Put that shit down right now.
I give you the bullet. You better sit your ass on the bed right now.
I reach for the gun.
And as you reach for it, he pulls the trigger 3 times. And the bullets slam into you.
I'll, in shock, just am driven back towards the wall, and I slump a bit with 3 bullet holes now in me.
And as you're laying there, we flash to another part of the world. This part, not inside the world as people know it. It is a land of the dead, where a prison has been for eon upon eon. It's a prison now that has cracks in the wall. And from this prison, one of the weaker, more lowly ranked demons breaks free. And as you move through the land of the dead, you feel your prison. It's tugging and pulling at you, pulling you back, trying to drag you down. And I don't think you're willing to accept that.
Oh no, we're clawing out for dear life.
And you end up in a world, in many ways, that you don't recognize. It is a world you can see around you and feel, where leaders don't lead. Love does not exist. Even beauty is only considered fleeting and thrown aside. It's not what you expected from creation. There's no heavenly host waiting to drag you back, only that pull of your prison. In this world, what you can't believe is there's no faith left. But there is one soul that seems to be calling towards you. It is a soul that is dying. You can feel the body, not only some sort of chemicals through its blood, but the body, for you, it doesn't make sense. It's also bleeding from wounds. And as you approach it, you find a woman slumped against the wall, 3 bullet holes in her. And you can see the soul is barely attached. It is right at the cusp of death. And you know, with just the barest of effort, you could shove that soul aside. and take that body as your own. So what do you do?
Seeing the soul so weakly attached and seeing the vulnerability there, I'll do the only thing I can. I'll place myself one hand, then two, and then into that body, that form.
And you push that soul out. It was leaving anyway. And as you sit there in your body, you feel the crashing emotions that you've never felt. You feel the pain of life, love, hate. The memories cascade in just like the feelings. But you also feel someone you love betrayed you. He just killed you. Now, it's not hard for you to push the wounds away, to heal them up, close them. You vaguely recall him fleeing from the place. But here you are with memories and emotions that you've never had. How do you react to this?
It's a whirlwind. It's impossible to describe. It's feeling what humans are, were, have been, everything that they've done since the fall, everything. This genetic memory buried in their DNA. I can feel it. I can feel everything that Vivian feels, that she knew, she loved, she hated. It all coalesces with my own being. It's incredible. It's terrifying. All the hate that I had built up is slowly ebbed away and filled with this sadness and this desperate need for vengeance after betrayal.
And you hear the front door to this, called an apartment, open. And you recognize the footsteps. You'd recognize them anywhere. Jeff has returned, and he steps into the room. And he comes forward and bends down and, oh God, what did I do? Damn it.
I grab a hold of the side of his head and I lean in real close. You shouldn't have done that.
Wait. I shot you 3 times.
I will cock back and slam this fist into his chest.
And this time, you don't just stagger him. You hit him. And with the rage built in you from eons of torment, imprisonment, you slam him 10 feet back till he bounces off the other wall. And he's laying in the floor grabbing his chest. You're pretty sure you heard those fragile ribs break from that hit.
You would dare do this, son of Cain, monster, murderer?
Oh, God. What's got into you? It's just the drugs, right? I shot you.
The drugs. No. Much, much better. And her hands will begin to flame and burn with holy fire as she assumes her apocalyptic form, a beautiful siren of myth and legend. Claws extending, scales flowing across her skin, beautiful, radiant, and terrible in her power.
And as his eyes open, my God, what are you? And he pulls the gun and he shoots, but it's nothing to you.
It is nothing. You are nothing. Fool, murderer, monster.
God, this can't be happening. This is not real. There's no way I'm seeing this. This must have been some drugs from earlier or a flashback or something. This can't be real. And he refuses to look at you now. His eyes are closed and he is crying.
The claws extend and she rents a gash across his chest. One slice cutting through his skin like paper.
And he screams at this point. And you see him trying to struggle to get up, but his ribs are cracked. He's not very good at that part. And suddenly he starts crawling from the room.
Crawl, murderer, crawl! Run! There is nowhere you can go where you will be safe from me.
Somewhere in the back of your head, Vivian is still there, her memories, her feelings. You're not quite sure she would want this. It wasn't her way. As he's crawling towards the door, scared of what you are.
She'll pause for just a second.
And as you pause, he slips out the door. Who are you?
It was Vivian Ash. We are now Thinthrazial, the devil.
For this next scene, we learn of an angel of the second house, the house of the firmament, angels of wind and movement. Initially, they were the ones who animated the elements of the universe, but most importantly, they were the ones who conveyed the breath of life to the Maker's creations. Everything that lived was done so by them. For this scene, we're going to touch on the topics: families fighting over inheritance, drug abuse, overdose, and even suicide. Thank you. So begins the second. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Arazeth, the guardian angel.
And what was your role in creation?
I created cellular respiration, the things in which all living things use to exist.
And on that fateful day, when Aramel, House of the Fates, gathered up members of the heavenly host and told him of the fall he foresaw in the future of the All-Mother and All-Father and all the descendants. Why did you fall?
Because I wanted to create perfect life that would give us the faith we needed to survive the fall. And I was denied. It was not within my father's plan.
And with that falling began a war, the war of atrocities, the war of wrath. What did you do during the war?
I was always a bit stubborn. Known to, when I was creating that cellular respiration, I had to stick with it diligently to get it just right. And during the war, I tried to create the perfect soldiers. I breeded Angel and the children of Adam and Eve.
And in the end, it all came to naught. Those children were destroyed by none other than the Lightbringer himself. And the All-Mother and All-Father's descendants turned their backs on the angels. When the war was lost and you were brought before the abyss, seeing Lucifer bound in chains, but his head still lift high. How did you enter the abyss?
I was angry. How dare he hold his head high? What he did to my children.
And as you were entering the abyss and the gates closed behind you, there was no sign of the morning star. He was not imprisoned with you. How did you handle the abyss?
There was no containment for my rage because I could not bring justice to the Lightbringer.
And now we flash to the year 1999. There is a woman. Her name is Virginia. She's a nurse, and tonight she's on call. And as expected, because she knew this was coming, one of her hospice patients, the time has come. He is at the edge. And since you were on call this night, you get notified and you have to go to their house.
She quickly gets up because she had gotten a little bit of sleep, knowing this call would probably come any time. And she wanted to get as much rest as she could. Virginia does a quick, 2-minute makeup using her hands just to put some foundation on, a little bit of blush, mascara, something on her lips so she doesn't look half dead. And she washes her hands, grabs her keys in her nursing bag and her purse, and heads out the door.
And as you're heading out the door, you see on your answer machine it's blinking, there's a message, but you know you'll have to check that when you get back.
Yeah.
And you set out to drive to that house. Now, when you arrive there, you can already see a number of cars are parked out front. And as you knock on the door, you can hear through the door screaming and yelling, "That's mine, you bitch!"
Hey, Virginia.
And
the Robinsons are assholes. Let's just get this done.
And the door opens. And Nurse Virginia, right?
Yes, I'm here for your father and for all of you.
Yeah, come on in. The old shit's about to die.
Okay, thank you. And she goes in.
And when you step in, you can hear the screaming, and it's not just one argument. There seems to be an argument in 3 different rooms of the house with 3 different groups of people.
She pointedly ignores it and goes right back to the patient's room.
And when you go into the patient's room, there's 2 different women in there. And as you walk in, you catch the end of, "He never liked you anyway. You're not getting shit."
If you cannot let him go in peace, then take your argument outside. I'm here to make sure he goes comfortably.
Well, I'm his favorite daughter, so I'm going to stay here. The woman looks over. "Bitch, you're not his favorite anything. I'm his favorite. I'm
out!"
And they both kind of look at you. "How dare you?"
Put in a complaint with my office tomorrow when they're open.
And they stomp out of the room, and you can hear the indignancy of one of them. Richard, did you hear how she talked to me?" And as you're standing there, it looks like he probably died a few minutes before you got here. And the family doesn't even seem to have noticed.
She strokes his hair, says, "I'm sorry, Stephen." And she goes into the bathroom and gets the basin that she would use to help clean him up when she'd visit, and that the CNAs would clean him up with when they visited. And she prepares warm water in it, grabs the liquid soap, and she goes and cleans his body reverently.
And as you're cleaning, the arguments have continued. It varies between who's getting the business, who's getting the money. You hear things breaking. Apparently it has devolved into throwing china and glassware at each other.
Maybe I'll be cleaning more than one body tonight.
And not one of them have come in to check to see if he's dead.
No. And she takes a towel and dries him off once she's done cleaning him. takes off the bed linens and puts a fresh set of linens over him. Cleans up the mess. Grabs her things after verifying that everything is as it should be. And she walks out to their kitchen where their phone is and calls the doctor to report that the patient has expired.
And in Roxas, it's Richard. You know him. He's the shithead son, the youngest of all of them. The old man died?
After the doctor clears her assessment of the patient and says, yes, he will sign the death certificate, she hangs up, looks at him, says, yeah, he's been dead, about 20 minutes now, but none of y'all seem to care. You're too busy fighting over his shit.
Good, get out.
Call the funeral home. Don't let him rot here.
We'll figure that out in a few minutes. Once we sort out who's getting the fucking money, somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah, thank goodness his Medicare paid for me, because I know your tightwads wouldn't. And she turns and walks out.
And as you walk, you see the woman. You never did learn her name because she never told you her name.
Most of them didn't tell me their names.
But the one saying Richard was apparently her husband, she's got a cut on her cheek from, it looks like one of the saucers was hurled at her at a high rate of speed. And as you climb back in your car,
She doesn't even bother hollering over her shoulder to get that looked at. She doesn't care about these people.
no,
She is so done.
you get in your car for the drive home. When you get to your house, your kids aren't there.
No, she's been on call this week, so the kids have been staying with her mother-in-law, well, former mother-in-law.
And you still have that blinking message on your answer machine.
She takes off her coat and hangs it up on a hook and sets her stuff down and takes the clip out of her hair. Hits the button to play the message.
Miss Wog, this is the dermatology office. We're just calling to let you know that we've picked a different candidate. We do appreciate you applying and interviewing for the position, but we actually found somebody better qualified to take it. And
She
regretfully,
just stops it and just hits the erase button on it. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. It's been 5 years. 5 years of trying to find something other than just shit. I cannot do what I'm supposed to with this job. She walks to the fridge and grabs a bottle of wine out of it.
quite a bit of wine in that fridge, actually.
She takes a key from the top shelf of her closet, opens up her locked box that has her medications in it because she doesn't want her kids getting into lithium and other sundry benzos that she takes for insomnia, anxiety, depression. Andy, I can't do this anymore. Michelle will take good care of the kids. She unlocks the cabinet, the chest, and takes out all of her pills. and goes to her bed. She takes them and washes them down with the bottle of wine and lays back to just go to sleep.
And in another world, a world of the dead, beyond the dead, a prison that stood for eons cracked. And from that crack came forth some of the weakest of their kind, but still powerful for what they are. And as you escaped, you can feel it pulled. The prison you're not supposed to be able to leave. Freedom. Once again. But it drags you down, always calling. It's a fight of willpower. As you claw your way to a world, concrete and death. Even the winds have been perverted, changed, and corrupted. The souls you feel around you, most are devoid of any faith at all. There is one. Calls to you, a mother. Full of pain, soul barely holding on, who has taken, you can feel it, some sort of chemical concoction that is ending her life. As you approach this body, because it's calling to you, you see her laying in bed. Picture of her kids beside her. As you watch the life ebbing from her. And you know you have very short time you can intervene. Hurry the soul on its way. And push your way into the body to take it as your own. You don't know how you can do it, but you know it's possible. What do you do?
I actually smile very kindly towards this mortal, because she has done what I could not. She has protected her children. And I step in.
And as you step in, the memories of her life flow into you. The pain of childbirth, the joys of creating, the betrayal at watching a family fight over a loved one who has passed, that spark of life that you helped give to them.
Yes.
Cast aside like nothing. The joys of all your successes and all your failures pile in at once. And ultimately the love of her children as it crashes into you. How does that feel to finally feel something the Maker denied you in the first place?
It is everything I ever wanted. And I am happy.
And who are you?
I was Virginia Waugh. I am now Arazeth, the Scourge.
And now we come to the third house, the house of fundament, the house of matter and what is tangible. These were the angels who had taken matter, slowed it down so that it formed physical objects, things that you can touch and feel. They are the creators of the earth and the stone. They are also the ones who were the ones to create items as the war grew on, create great engines of war. Thus begins the third story. This one touches on family neglect. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Karsador, the artificer.
And what was your role in creation?
I was the angel of the space between, spatial awareness, understanding of interconnectivity.
And on that fateful day when Aharamel gathered the heavenly host, to bring up the impending disaster that loomed before the All-Mother and the All-Father. On that day, Lucifer spoke. Why did you choose to fall?
Lucifer was inspiring. He was everything and everything else. We wanted to follow him. He was correct. Until he wasn't.
And with the war in the heavens that began so peacefully, very quickly it turned into a war of atrocities. What did you do during the war?
Occasionally forged weapons. Primarily, I was, in effect, transport, bringing ambushes to attack small groups of the host.
As the war went on, mankind turned their back on you, which led to the end of the war, where you lost. And on that day, bowed before the gates of your prison in front of the heavenly host. Only Lucifer, at the time, was unbowed, wrapped in his chains of fire. And as the gates of the abyss opened, how did you enter?
Without looking back.
As the gates slammed shut behind you, you found yourself in this emptiness, this nothingness. And Lucifer was not there. How did you take the abyss in your time trapped in nothing?
At first, I was merely confused, getting my bearings. Confusion gave way to fury. And then from fury came a dark acceptance.
And now, gonna flash to the modern age. To a man named Clark Miller, a reporter who actually happens to be sitting in his office working on his latest piece. Politician was caught with a mistress.
A classic if there ever was one.
And Clark is the one who's going to break the story this time. It's a big deal for him.
Few bits of embellishment to make sure it's really interesting.
And as you're sitting in your office, there's a knock at the door of your office.
I don't even look up. I just say, "Come in."
And the door opens, and in steps a woman you know quite well, though you're not as close as you should be. It is your sister, Chloe. Chloe has come in. I should have known I'd find you here.
What do you want?
I want to talk to my damn brother.
Set my hands in my lap and don't, not turn, but just look at her. Here I am.
I mean, what the hell, Clark? What the hell?
What do you mean, what the hell? I'm busy.
Yeah, you're always busy. You're always sitting in here trying to get that next scoop to ruin another fucking person's life.
You act as if the people I've reported on didn't deserve it.
Nobody deserves the shit you've been putting some of them people through.
If they weren't such terrible people, maybe that wouldn't keep happening.
Have you ever looked at yourself? Do you think part of that terrible was you?
No, why would it be?
Well, let's see. When's the last time you saw Mom?
I sent her flowers for her birthday.
That was 6 months ago. Do you remember what month it is?
January?
Uh-huh. What about Dad? When did you last talk to Dad?
Dad can fuck off. I don't care about him.
You didn't make my wedding.
I sent a card.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Thanks, bro. Have you met your niece yet?
You have a niece? I
No,
have a niece?
You have a niece. Damn it. See, this is what I'm talking about. All you do is sit in this damn office.
I have quotas, deadlines. You're acting like I'm doing this for nothing.
Let's see. You have quotas, you have deadlines, you have no girlfriend, a family that doesn't know you, no real friends. And what are you getting out of this? You can't say they pay
Money?
you that well.
They pay me enough. I can afford this office, can't I?
Jesus. It's like talking to a damn brick wall. And she walks over to your desk and starts shoving your papers around.
Stop. And that's when I'll actually get up and move her away from the desk.
Oh, that's what it takes to get a reaction from you.
I have to keep this shit organized, otherwise I lose the story.
Jesus Christ. It used to, I remember growing up, it was about, family and us. And, mom and dad. You had such dreams you were going to be a Pulitzer Prize winning author. Get all the hot takes. And now look at you.
Yeah, dreams die. Get used to it.
And now you sit here, you're wasting your life away, you're doing nothing. You know what? Fine. I mean, you don't want to see your niece, that's fine. Why don't you just stay in your office and fucking rot?
Take care.
And she shakes her head one last time, and she turns to go, tears are leaking down her face. And she slams the door behind it, which causes several of your minor awards to fall right off the wall.
I don't even go pick them up. I just sit back down at my desk, take a very shaky breath, and get back to work. This politician's going down.
As you're writing this paper, writing your article, lost in what you're doing, what you've been doing, not once have you ever considered the price on your own soul, have you? Because at this time, events happening in the Shadowlands, events that caused a crack in an eternal prison. And from that crack, well, the fallen angels have started to break free. And there you are, pushing away from the abyss, the prison you've been trapped in, only to
Clawing desperately.
You can feel it tugging, still pulling at you. And you've come to a world that you don't even recognize. All the life has been sucked out of it. Things of concrete, no beauty in it. Earth has been poisoned and corrupted, turned against itself. But there's one beacon of a soul that seems to be calling to you.
I don't even take a second to consider. I just move.
And as you move in, you see that this soul has been weakened by its own choices, its own degradation, its own mistakes. A bit of guilt even, deep inside, suppressed. You know, all you have to do is push.
I climb in fast. It's very brutal, almost reckless.
And as you shove what it was to be this person out, and you take this body for yourself, all at once, a lifetime of memories crash into you. A lifetime of love, hate, pain, and joy, happiness, things the Creator never gave you, and sensation and touch. How does that feel?
Overwhelming.
This is
so much, I don't even know what to focus on.
This is what you were denied. This is what the Creator gave the All-Mother and All-Father's descendants. Somewhere in it is a tempering to that pain, that torment, that anger you had before. Who are you?
I was Clark Miller. I am now Carsador, the Malefactor.
And now we come to the fourth house, the house of the spheres. This is the house who set all the cosmic lights in their courses, that set all of creation and underpinning of time. These are the ones who plotted all the movements of the universe. For their story, we're going to touch on familial violence, harm to children, murder by a family member, nightmares, and even overdoses. Please, let's begin the fourth story. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Nibas, the Shamas.
And what was your role in creation?
I created dreams.
And on that fateful day, when Aharamel, a member of your own house, foresaw what was coming in the future, the fall, the darkness encompassing the All-Mother and All-Father, why did you choose to fall with them?
My creation wasn't utilized to its fullest. Man saw it as something nifty that they could just see occasionally, not realizing the source it was to process information and to really learn from it. I wanted to show them what they could make of their dreams.
So you fell. And the war began. During the war, it was a tough time. What role did you play during the war?
I was information gathering. Some would call it being a spy. Worked behind and collected information, just tried to see where any patterns were to potentially plan and uncover secrets.
And in the end, Adam and Eve turned their back to you. Their descendants turned from you as well, and the war was lost. And on that day, when Lucifer was brought before the gates of the abyss, bound in chains, and all of you, head down, brought before the gates as well, and your command was read. As you moved into the abyss, how did you enter the abyss?
Willingly. I was feeling defeated after seeing what had been done to my creation. These once beautiful dreams were now turned to nightmares.
And as you
Such
spent
violence.
as you spent this time in the abyss, trapped in nothingness, an eternal lack of anything, how did the abyss change you? Or did it?
Colder. There was nothing but a lot going on simultaneously. Nothing in the sense that there was nothing to learn, nothing to improve, no real information to process, nothing to grow. But there was pain, misery, and coldness. So I was torn every day.
And now we flash to the modern era. Well, close to it. 1999. There is a mortal. Her name is Alice Elizabeth. She is at home, sleeping restlessly in bed. And as we step into her dreams, the first thing we see is her older brother with a bloody knife standing over the body of her father.
She begs him to stop, asks him why. She hears and sees her mom tied in a corner, along with her little sister. She doesn't understand what's going on, why any of it's occurring.
You just stay right there. You're going to get your turn next. Don't worry. And you see him walk over, and he immediately begins stabbing your mother.
Come on, stop.
No,
Why?
no. This has to happen. It's going to happen, and you can't stop me. Watch. And he turns and begins to stab your sister.
Seeing their, I can't even describe it. I look around, see if there's anything I can use for a weapon. The only thing I end up with is a frying pan. And
you know,
wing it as hard as I can.
this is a dream you've had often. Because as you're standing there, you know nothing you do is going to be able to stop him. And as you swing with the frying pan and you connect, he still kills your sister. And then the dream resets. And once again, you're standing with your brother with a bloody knife.
John, please stop.
What, you want me to cut you first?
Don't do this.
And again, you see, this time he doesn't stab your mother. Your mother's already dead. The weird way the dreams have changed it. And this time you even try to stop him by pulling off of him, pulling him back from it. But he still manages to kill your sister. Once again, how do you kill him?
This time I run into him, try and push him against the wall and grab the knife for him. I end up with the scars that I see now, and it's quite a fight. But I get him, and I hear his last breaths, wondering what I've done, but knowing I had no other choice. Poor Sarah.
And again, your dream resets. And this time, he's standing with a knife stuck in him. You know it's your fault. You did this.
I didn't mean to.
You
I really
did this.
didn't.
It's all your fault. It'll always be your fault. You can never escape it.
No.
If you thought you didn't mean to, why do you keep coming here? Why is this dream what you keep seeing? Why do you keep returning to this?
Because I miss you.
If you missed me, you wouldn't have killed me. I told you it had to be done.
Why? Why them?
We both know. And then the dream resets again. But as it resets this time, you manage to pull yourself from this horrible loop that has repeated itself night after night after night for years. And you awake in your bed, covered in sweat. Your covers are even on the floor, thrown off during your thrashing.
I wipe tears away from my face and sit up quickly. Can't keep doing this. I need sleep. Why can't I sleep? And she turns over to her nightstand and she takes an extra dose of sleeping pills tonight. It's fine. She does it occasionally. She took the normal dose earlier, I think. I need to sleep. I can't do this again.
As the drugs take hold, you go back to sleep and find yourself in a room with your brother, standing over your dead father. And in another part, in a place outside of man, in a place created by your own kind, but turned as a prison. Other events has caused a crack, and from this crack in the walls of your prison, the boss escapes, sent out into the world, and as you leave your prison for the first time in countless eons, you can feel it still pulling and tugging at you, trying to draw you back, trying to pull you back into the prison where you deserve to be. And you come claw your way out into a world you don't recognize. All the love of creation has been bled from the world. It is a world of concrete and steel, a world without faith, without love, without joy, without the beauty of creation. And as you're being tugged back, there is one soul that calls to you, one single person. She is caught in a nightmare, but her heart is weak. It seems she's taken something that is slowly killing her now. But you can see the nightmares dreams you created turn to nightmares as it is torturing this woman. Do you approach the body?
Yes.
And as you get to her, you see her. She's thrashing, sweat covered. But her thrashing is slowly becoming softer and easier. And you can actually see the soul that resides in it separating as the body enters its final stages. And you know at this point, it is a foregone conclusion. This woman is going to die. And all it will take is a little nudge from you to shove the soul free, to take it the rest of the way and make it yours, to heal, purge the toxins in the body, to make it whole again.
I gradually caress her cheek. Rest now. You no longer need the nightmares. And I push her out.
And as you push her out and settle into the body, you're hit with new sensations, feelings you've never had. You have memories of her whole life, of a family that was shattered by the actions of her brother, by the guilt of what you had to do to save yourself even. Feelings of love and hate, pain. Things the Creator never gave you, things that He gave only the All-Mother and All-Father's descendants. Something you fell for in some ways, but it all crashes into you at once. Feelings, emotions, memories. Some little bit of it pushes the torment out. How do you react to this?
I relish it. Compared to what was in the abyss, the coldness, the nothing, it feels good to be alive. Guess that's what I am now.
So who are you?
I was Alice Elizabeth. I am now Nibas the Fiend.
And now we come to the fifth house. This was the house that was given dominion all over all the vast oceans of the world. They were also the well springs of imagination and the muses and those that inspired mankind to see them. This particular story touches on spousal abuse, mental health, alcoholism, and then murder by a mental patient. Let us begin the fifth story. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Trimdesiel the Nereid.
And what was the Maker's will for you in the act of creation?
I created a fleeting feeling when you look at a sunset or something else that is kind of ephemeral. It makes that feeling you get when you reminisce of the day that's come and the day that will come the next day, the day after that, and maybe even the days that happened previously.
And on that fateful day, when Aramel saw the fate, the blackness that was approaching mankind, and Lucifer made the decision to rebel against heaven, which side did you choose?
I fell with Lucifer, but I chose Lucifer because of the humans.
So you fell for love of the humans, not for the Morning Star himself. And in this war, what role did you serve?
I watched. I wanted to see how humans interacted with what I had created and what others had created.
And in the end, it was all for naught. The angels were cast down, defeated, locked into the abyss, a place of nothingness, a place of no feeling, no sensation. And what effect did that have on you? How did you feel about being imprisoned without the Morning Star?
It was what I imagined humans felt before they were aware of the things that we had gifted them. That sense of nothing and not understanding. It was hellacious in its own way, not being able to feel anything or be able to even connect.
And now we're going flash to a woman named Kathleen Stone. She is in a car on her way to work, heading into her office of all places, driving through downtown Chicago. Do you stop anywhere on your way to work, Kathleen?
No, the newspaper is delivered, so I don't have to worry about that.
And as you get to your place of work, a sign on the door, Dr. Kathleen Stone, psychiatry. And as you come in, Rebecca, your receptionist, sees you walk in. Miss Stone, you're in. Good. I got the billing all sorted out for you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
And we're going to get that all processed up. Insurance has given us a fit again with one of the patients. They're arguing we've exceeded their quota.
You know, what we do here is just as real as going and having somebody fix a broken arm or remove your appendix. I don't know why the insurance companies can't understand that, but, you know, that's our fight, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'll keep arguing with them. I know we did not use up their allocated for the year yet, so I'll call them back after this evening.
Well, I appreciate your hard work as always, Rebecca. I believe I have a 9:00 this morning. So
yes, Miss Delane, shortly.
Okay. Well, send her back when she's here. I will be awaiting her arrival.
Okay, Miss Stone. And you step into, your office. Very comfortable place. As you settle in, waiting, you got there in enough time to review some of the notes from previous sessions so that you're ready for it. But it's not long before there's a knock at the door.
Come on in, please.
And in steps middle-aged woman, long hair. Good to see you, Kathleen. I'm here.
Standing, I'll go over and I'll just, I'm glad you made your appointment. Please, take a seat, settle in. It's going to be okay.
And she sits down and she looks over. I might as well just get started with it. He went out drinking again last night.
Oh.
Yes.
Did he hit you again?
No, but he wanted to. I could tell he almost did.
I'm sorry, Judith, but you can't keep yourself in this situation. He's going to keep doing this And as we've explained before, the cycle of abuse, just because he didn't hit you this time doesn't mean he won't next time.
I know, but if I leave him, where will I go? What will I do? I don't have anything. I don't have anywhere to go. No.
Those questions are always horrific to think of. They will bog you down and they will keep you. They are the tools of your abuser that keep you chained to him. There are shelters, there are organizations. I've got the information. All you have to do is say, I'm willing to do the right step for me. And when I hear you affirm that to me, I can give you that information. We can move forward together to make it so that you can find safety and a place of betterment for yourself.
I know I can't keep living like this. It's getting an ulcer from the stress alone, just the fear.
Yeah. He has you exactly where he wants you. I'm sorry. I know that is difficult to hear. Does not make the situation better. But
You're right. You're right.
Judith, I'm not trying to be right. All I'm trying to do is give you the tools so that you can be safe, you can be okay, that you can have the life that you deserve to have.
I know part of me knows it's not going to stop until I end up dead. And he's going to drink one too many and come home, and I'll be another statistic on the news.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens way too often.
And there's a thump, a loud thump from outside your office. And when it happens, she actually jumps and startles. What was that?
I don't know, Judith, stay there, remain calm. I will check to see what's going on. And Kathleen will stand up and start moving towards the door.
And when you get to the door and open it up, you see your receptionist is slumped over her desk with a small amount of blood pooled on the desk. And reaching for the handle was a former patient of yours, Thomas Bowders, one that you thought you'd made progress with. But he was always a problem with his meds. I got you now. Gotcha.
Mr. Bowders, we can talk about this. We can get you back on I'm assuming you didn't take your medication, did you?
No, it's all your fault. It all started when you gave me those meds. It's those meds. Those meds are the ones that's doing it to me. And I know how to make it stop. And I know exactly. And when he says that, you see him pull from behind him a large knife.
Mr. Bowders, there is no need for violence here. We can find the solution that does not involve violence.
No, I've got to quiet it. It all started with you. It's your fault. I lost my job. They put me in a hospital, and I blame it all on you. It's all you.
Those were steps to help you, Mr. Bowders. Your involvement in this is always part of it. That's part of your rehabilitation. You have to take the steps necessary. Attacking me isn't going to make you better, Mr. Bowders.
How about this step? And he actually steps forward and slams the knife into your stomach. And at this, Judith screams. As he pulls the knife from you, who turns to her?
Kathleen has like one hand on the wound and she's kind of trying to reach for him, falling towards him some as she's kind of...
He shrugs you off in your pain-weakened state. And he moves over. Oh, you're going to shut up now. And he immediately just starts stabbing her over and over. And then he turns back to you. Now I can finish what I started.
Mr. Bowders, you didn't need to...
And as he steps in and stabs you again, we're flashing over to spirit force that has just escaped from the abyss and the pull of oblivion hugging at you, pulling you down, but you're not ready to return. And as you move into this world you don't recognize, there's a soul that calls to you. You can feel it. It is weak. They are dying. But there's something about it that draws you in. And you come in to see a mortal man standing over this body. A woman dead beside him. And you know right now, if you so choose, as this woman's life is fading, you can supplant and take the body for your own.
Desiel doesn't want to return to nothingness. It takes the chance and goes for the body.
And as you push into the body, everything at once hits you. Emotion, memories, hate, love. Things the Creator never designed you to have. Things Creator denied you, but gave to humanity. But in that exact moment, you realize the wound He has given you is nothing. The flesh is malleable. You can fix it. And He looks down on you. Why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? What is wrong?
To feel after so long.
He gets a panicked look on his face, as if he can see something he didn't expect to see. God, what are you?
Angel, child of God.
Oh.
Just as you? No, you're different. You're weak.
No, it can't. You can't. It's got to be. It's the medicine. It's the pills. I knew the pills. I killed you.
For that, I thank you. And she kind of forces herself to a standing position and advances on him with her taloned hands.
No, please don't, no. I'm not ready for this. I don't deserve this.
She gets closer and closer until finally she puts a hand on his shoulder, claws biting in a little bit. This is what you wanted, I assume. And then she swipes her other hand across his throat.
As he dies and bleeds out here in the office. Judith finally deciding to do what she needed. And these are all memories you have caught between the waist of a woman who'd taken the first step to freeing herself. Dead. Your receptionist injured. Patient gone. What is your first thing you're thinking of with these memories and emotions crashing in now?
There's so much that the Creator denied us. And at the same time, I'm ecstatic that humans have found feelings and they can feel so many different things, but also to be free of that nothingness.
So, as we fade this scene, who are you?
I was Kathleen Stone. I am now Trimdesiel the Defiler.
And now we come to the seventh house, the house of the second world, also known as the Angels of Death. To this house was given the task to undo everything their peers created. They had to end and erase all of the works so that new works could be built in their place. For this story, we're going to touch on unrequited love, depression, and in the end, hopelessness. Let us begin our sixth and final scene. In the beginning, the Maker formed the angels of the dawn, whose purpose was to carry the will of the Maker with creation. Who are you?
I was Druliriel, the Reaper.
And what was your role in creation?
I had made the peacefulness in death.
And when that fateful day came, when Armel called the houses of the Holy Host to tell them of the impending doom that he saw for the All-Mother and All-Father, why did you fall?
I believed that unless the humans were shown the glory of creation, they would never be able to love us in return the way that we love them.
And with your fall began a war of the heavens. During this war, many atrocities were committed. But what was your role in the war?
You could say I didn't really have one. I was preoccupied with my previous duties still.
And while preoccupied with your previous duties, the All-Mothers and All-Fathers' descendants turned their back on the fallen. And in so doing, the war was lost. And on that fateful day when you were brought before the gates of the abyss, with Lucifer bound in chains, his head unbent, how did you enter the abyss?
I was saddened, but it was worth it.
And as you stepped foot in the abyss with your fellow fallen, and the gates closed behind you, you did not see Lucifer enter. How did you feel in that prison of nothingness, non-existence?
Betrayed.
And we flash now to the modern era. The year is 1999. A band currently playing in a bar tonight. Rage Against the Planet. The lead singer is Michelle Porter, though everyone calls her Mars. And as she's singing tonight, and the band is having a pretty good set, in walks a woman she recognizes. It's one she knows quite well. Sandra has shown up. Sandra has shown up with a man on her arm. And as you're playing, you can see that this man, Sandra, are rather close, because more than once she's leaned in as they started kissing. Well, how does that make Mars feel?
Angry. She is almost prepared to stop performing. Her guitar player looks over and sees what has upset Mars. And they finish the song and they call it for the night.
And as you exit the stage, guitar player looks at you. Did she really just do that?
I think so. I have no idea who that guy is. I've never seen him before. I
mean, she knows how you feel, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't even know how to feel right now. I am angry and sad, and I don't even know how to process this. Like,
I mean, look, I know you can't help your feelings. I know you can't change it, but it's obvious she's not good enough for you. I mean, that come on.
Doesn't matter in the end. I thought, I don't know what I thought anymore. I just got to get home. I can't be here right now. I need to think. I don't know. I'll call you in the morning or something.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, if you want, look, I can get Bobby, the bouncer, to go and just bounce his ass out and leave her in.
You know, as much as that would be vindicating, I'm going to have to pass. I'm going to try and be the mature one here, as much as I really don't want to. But yeah,
Look, I'm your friend, Mars. If you need anything, just let me know. Okay?
Yeah.
And you head out home to your apartment by yourself. What do you do when you get home?
That night, that first night, Michelle gets drunk. Very drunk. And just passes out on her couch.
You wake up the next day and got several messages from the band. Hope you're okay. How you doing?
Michelle doesn't respond.
One day turns into 2, into 3, into 4. Soon a week has gone by. Your band is called every day. You still haven't responded, have you?
No.
Not even when they were knocking at the door?
No. The anger turned quite quickly into exhaustion, tiredness, just no will to really do much of anything.
After 2 weeks have gone by, no will. They haven't been cleaning, barely eating, sleeping most of the time. But this is the fateful night. And on this night, you go to take a bath. What are you thinking as you settle back in the bathtub?
How much I just want to sleep. Don't want to deal with it anymore. I had thought that Cassandra had been worth being my muse, and the betrayal and the hurt, it's just too much to really think about anymore.
This is a fateful night more than one way. Because in another realm, the realm of the dead, prison that has held a fallen for countless eons, has cracked. And from that crack has begun to escape the fallen angels. And as you break free of your prison for the first time in eons, and you claw your way through an abyss, realm of the dead, you can feel it pulling at you, tugging at you, wanting to bring you back to the prison where you deserve to be. Through sheer effort, you find your way to a world you don't recognize. It's a world without the love you had hoped to see. It's a world of pain, anger, and hate, concrete, bitterness, pettiness, jealousy. But there is one soul you can feel. It's calling to you. It is a soul that is racked in pain, broken of spirit, all because of a love not returned, a love cast aside. And as you approach it, you find this daughter of Eve lying in a bathtub, her soul barely linked to the body anymore. And you know it's just one little push for you to ease the pain of the one that was stuck in there and to take that body. What do?
Being that I created peacefulness and death, I calmly and softly assured them that I would take care of their body for them if they just didn't want to be here anymore.
While they can't see or hear you, the brokenness of the soul, it pulls you. And in one small movement, you are Michelle. All her memories come crashing in at once, all her feelings, all her pains in life, her joys, the pleasure. Of course, also the torment, the guilt, second guessing. All things the Maker never gave you. You were never blessed to feel this. But at the same time, you also feel a bit of that torment about that darkness of the abyss, pushed at bay by these memories and what was left over of humanity. And as all these new feelings and memories, you now know exactly why she was broken in this bathtub. How do you react to your first moments in a body?
It's completely overwhelming, but at the same time, the relief of not being in the abyss anymore. Probably start crying.
And crying. Who are you?
I'm now Juliriel, Slayer.
Thank you for watching these scenes where you learned a little bit about each of these demons and who they were before they fell. Of course, we are going to begin next week, the very first episode of the live portion of this chronicle, where we're going to find out what are they up to now. Of course, if you like what we're doing, please join us on our Discord right over here in chat right now. We cast this show for both season 1 and season 2 straight from the Discord through one of our casting calls. So if you join us on our Discord, maybe you'll get a chance to play with us. Of course, we also do weekly Zoom hangouts where we just go and chill, and it's open to all members of the Discord, no camera required. And once in a while, we do non-streamed games, normally Blood on the Clock Tower, which is an ultimate werewolf style game. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time with that. If you want to catch back episodes of our other content, right over here in chat, you can get a link to all of our various YouTube channels. If you want to catch the London Esoteric Society, which is our DM Tiss's amazing little Call of Cthulhu game, of course, you can pop over right there. Got the link to it there. If you want to check out other amazing content creators, some of which you saw tonight, right over here in chat right now, you have a list of friends. These are people we try to support because they're good people. Of course, we've got studio merch. Who knows if we'll have some demon merch? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll see. It all depends on what people suggest. Now, if you want to give something to the players to show your appreciation for the time and effort, and to be fair, the expenses, wardrobing and costumes and equipment, you can give bits and donations. Those go just to the players. They do not go to the studio. So Verlin and I do not take any of the bits or donations other than the taxes. Of course, if you want to support the studio, you can give us a subscription here on Twitch, but they take half that. So if you really want to support the studio, pop over to our KoFi. We get to keep all that. So go over to the KoFi. Now, of course, as always, as we end these episodes, of course, first we'll go through the schedule. This week, on Sunday, we have Windy City After Dark Season 6 summary. That'll be done by your boy Twitch, and he's going to give you the summary of Season 6 of our vampire stream. Of course, he also likes to drop spoilers about what's coming, so check that out so that you can get some spoilers, if nothing else, even if you are caught up. Of course, also, next Tuesday, 8 p.m., it's Episode 2 of Demon, The Road to Hell. You'll get to actually finally see what they're doing in the modern times. What events are they up to? what it means to be a demon trapped within a human body. Now, mental health, everyone, it's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take your mental health seriously. Check in on friends, check in on family, check in on a loved one, check in on all those around you. Please make sure they're okay, because a lot of people aren't. And all it takes is one friendly voice, one friendly message to make people realize that someone cares. And sometimes that's all it takes to get them off that edge, to be that lifeline, that rope they need. And of course, if you do suffer from mental health issues, like many of us do, first off, it's okay to not be okay. A lot of us aren't okay right now. And if you don't feel you can reach out to people around you, because sometimes you don't, in chat right now is a list of numbers you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that you can talk to somebody on the other end who can be that lifeline you need, that can help you work through it. And if you're not in the U.S., because I know we have a number of non-U.S. viewers, you can, of course, go to the website there that we have a link to, put that in your thing, and you will find out what is the support in your country, because it's not just the United States out there. There's a lot more than that. And of course, everybody, as we say each week, please get your COVID vaccine, get your boosters, get as many as it takes. We need to take care of this. I personally suffer from COPD, and I have been vaccinated because, frankly, I worry it will kill me if I catch it. So let's try to stop the spreading of it so that maybe I can survive too. Maybe. Also, fuck Putin, but do not take it out on the Russian people in your neighborhoods, Russian businesses in your community. They're not to blame for Russian. But Putin is a shitheel. Fuck Putin with an elephant, the whole elephant. And finally, reproductive rights, everybody. There's your rights. Do not try to get involved in what a woman does with her body. It's not your place. And of course, it's not pro-life. What you're talking is pro-forced birth. If it was truly pro-life, you would be willing to make sure that kids get proper nutrition after they're born. You'd be willing to make sure that kids get proper care, proper medical treatment. Of course, you also, if you were pro-life, you wouldn't be for allowing a bunch of people to shoot up fucking schools. Seriously. So please, stop that bullshit. You're not pro-life. You're pro-forced birth. And if I offend somebody with that, tough shit. I'm allowed to speak my piece right here on my channel. And of course, I thank you all for coming to this. And I really do hope you'll tune in to see the very first episode when we gather everybody here at the same table live as we explore what it means to be a demon. But remember, on the road to hell, it's always paved with good intentions. Good night, everybody.